rights defender has been released from prison after serving a 2-year jail sentence. Nabeel Rajab says he was held in dire conditions and subjected to abuse, including being placed in solitary confinement with a dead animal and kept almost naked. After his release on Saturday, he was welcomed by hundreds of supporters and paid a visit to his mother's grave. Rajab says he's shocked at how much the rights situation in Bahrain had worsened during his time in prison, but he insists he will continue to struggle against discrimination. Now, to give you a better idea of what he's been through, let's take a look here. In fact, we can join Nabeel Rajab right now here on RT International. Thank you very much for your time. I'm sure it's an extremely busy time for you. We've touched on some of the conditions that you were kept in whilst in prison. Can you just describe to us exactly what you went through?
Well, first of all, being in jail itself is a violation for my right of expression. Putting me in jail for the past 2 years, trying to distance me from my people. In fact, I was kept in isolation in the past 2 years. I was not kept in a proper jail, as with the other couple of thousands of political prisoners. But I was kept separate in a separate building for 2 years, just to make sure that I don't connect with the other prisoners. And then the very few people who were with me in that separate building were either people that I don't speak their language, or people are charged with criminal charges far away from those charges I was charged. And so 2 years I was not discussing any kind of political or human rights situation of Bahrain, other than I was not allowed also to speak by telephone on any issue related to Bahrain for the past 2 years. So I'm not aware of what is happening outside. That's why I'm not speaking much since I come outside. I said, I need to have time. I'm not like the other prisoners who were mixing with each other. Each prison had around 300 to 400 prisoners, but my prison, I had 2 or 3 people who don't speak my language, who are far away from me in terms of the charges. And now, after 2 years, I have made a lot of things, wrote a lot of things in jail in the past 2 years. When I came out also, even those books that I have made of what I have been through were taken from me in the last moment before I come out. But I know after all, this is the cost of the struggle in this part of the world. And I'm planning to continue my struggle, no matter how much is the cost, knowing that all countries that having freedom and democracy today, there was some time before people have faced such circumstances, and the cost has to be paid. Maybe some people, specific people, have to pay this cost to achieve democracy, justice, and human rights. And I am one of many people in this country willing to pay more cost for my nation, for my second generation, to have democracy, justice, and human rights.
You've spoken about the isolation that you suffered. How did you remain strong throughout the 2 years, and what are your plans now?
The belief in the cause that I'm holding, the belief in the values that I'm fighting for keeps me going. It is not an easy thing, especially I have lost my mother, I have lost my auntie, I have lost my cousin, I have lost my uncle, I have lost my cousin daughter, lost many friends who happened to lose their life while I'm in prison. It was a difficult thing, but after all, the aim that I am holding, the value I am fighting for, it keeps me going, knowing that a lot of people are waiting for me. A lot of people needs me to be out, needs me to be focused, strong as ever, keep me going. And that's why I am out, because my people need me to be there, and I am going to be there.
Emotionally, it's obviously been very difficult for you. How were you treated in prison physically?
Well, physically, I wouldn't say I was treated bad, but mentally, disconnecting me, even by telephone, to speak with my family in any issue. That was very difficult thing. Me, physically, maybe I was tortured once only, but I have witnessed other people being tortured in front of my eyes. And I have seen people being tortured by police, bleeding and all that. And I made a lot of noise while I'm there. I reached my complaint to United Nations, and they finally told me that they are complaining about those accusations, not yet knowing how serious is their, their investigation. But I have witnessed other people being tortured.
So what sort of situation have you come out to in Bahrain now? What's the situation like in the country as we speak?
Well, unfortunately, as you see, situation has become worse in Bahrain. Violence is erupted everywhere. The day I went inside jail, there was no such violence. But I remember I've said in the last tweets that I have made that telling the government, if you put peaceful people like me who advocate for peaceful gathering, peaceful struggle in jail, then you will face people who are using violence. And this is what happened. All people, human rights activists like me, who are behind bars today in Bahrain. And that's why you see this kind of violence. Situation is worse, and the gap between the political power and the people is wider. The solution looks more complicated today. Ruling family has no will to change that situation, to have a proper and credible dialogue with the opposition.